Hello, hello, hello. Okay, can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? If you can confirm, let's start this session. Hello, everyone. I hope you guys can see me. So, it's been really long that we have had a live session. So, I thought, why not? Let's do a YouTube live and let's check out how everyone's doing, how we can maybe help a lot of people who are in a confused situation. So yeah, I will just wait for a couple of chat messages to come in. Minha says hello, hi Minha, LCS official. I hope you are doing good. LCS official, you're doing good. I'm doing great as well. I was having a lot of things piled up in my plate. So I thought, okay, I'll finish off everything. And now I think we are consistently posting videos, and it's helping a lot of folks. So yeah, let's see. I think this session should be an amazing one, given that we have a lot of people on the chat. Nilaksh says hello. Hi Nilaksh, how are you doing? That's my friend. I just met him today, so he's also there on the live. LCS official, bro. I am studying in second year in biomedical, and at present I am learning machine learning. Okay, that's really good. If you are in second year of biomedical engineering, then you doing or learning machine learning is a really good way to look at things. And I would suggest first years also to start with machine learning as soon as possible. Not getting into complicated stuff, but getting an understanding what machine learning is, right? What are the different terminologies that are used? Just have an intro of machine learning in first year, and second year you can dig in a bit more and then understand how everything's coming up, whether you like it or not, and then eventually you can move ahead. But yeah, second year not so late. You still have a lot of time, and I mean you have 3 years down the lane, so I think it would be great experience for you. It's all about music. Hello, sir. Don't call me sir. You guys can call me bro. I think I'm not that old. I am second year. Wanted to go for cancer research. What should I do? See, if you have a clarity as to you are wanting to get into research and development, first of all, having that clarity is really good. And so, what I would suggest you is first year is already done. Second year, you will start getting into the biomedical subjects, right? And you will have image processing, you will have medical devices. So make sure first you do a research about cancer as a disease. Maybe in first year you should have done it, but right now it's not so late. So you research more about cancer and then study more about the equipments that are used to diagnose and treat cancer. So what will happen is the more you learn about it, you will get a problem statement as to, okay, this is something which is done, but it can be improvised with maybe adding these specific features. So you have to do research and understand whether you can solve a problem which has not been addressed so far. And when you do that, you get into research, core research. You will read a lot of papers, you will read a lot of published IEEE papers, thesis, and then you understand what exactly you're wanting to do. Has it been done in the past and things like that? So I think if you want to get into cancer research, first you should have a complete understanding about what cancer is, and then you start how we, at right now in today's time, how we are diagnosing it, how we are treating it, what are the prim preliminary tests that we do today, and what can be improvised. So these are the areas there where you can pick out one niche and then completely go all in about it and write your own thesis and papers and things like that. So I think that would be my suggestion for you. Arnab Sarkar, 2011. My sister got placed at Striker with a package of 7.7 LPA. Should she realistically expect that as her starting package? Absolutely, why not? Now, there are different factors when it comes to the packages of different students who are applying for jobs. So, the first thing would be, what are the different types of companies? You can classify them into tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 companies. So tier 1 companies can be the large scale companies which are already established in the market. For example, Stryker is one among them. Medtronic is there, Baxter is there, Johnson and Johnson is there, and I think Philips Healthcare is there. So there are a lot of big companies which are already established in the market. So if you get into those kind of companies, automatically your pay scale would be more. Automatically, it would be more than compared to any student who has been applying for tier 2 or tier 3 companies. Okay. Now, the second kind of company, tier 2 companies, would be the companies which are startups but are growing really fast. So these can be called as high growth startups. So you joining a startup is different thing, and you joining a startup which is growing at a really fast pace is something else. So let's say tier 2 companies would be the high growth startups or companies who are projected to have a really good growth in next, let's say, 5 years or 3 years. and then you join that company. Even those companies would be sometimes paying more than what the established tier 1 companies are paying. Why? Because they are a high growth startup, and as you know, startup needs a lot of workforce, but they are not allowed to burn a lot of money. So always a productive candidate who can do multiple things will be paid more than someone who is doing a certain role in tier 1 company and then getting paid for it. So sometimes tier 2 companies also would be paying a lot. Now, tier 3 companies can be the distributors. Now, let's say if Medtronic is an organization, they would have a lot of third party distributors in different states who will be selling these equipments apart from the company vendors. So, what these distributors do is they don't have salespeople or they don't have service engineers or field engineers, right? So, these companies or tier 3 companies, what they do is the distributors, right? You join as a field engineer in a distributor company, they will hire you, but they will pay you very less amount of money. Sometimes it can be 15,000, 17,000 to start your career with. So they act as the middleman between the company and the retail owner. So they are like a third party vendors or distributors who are selling these equipments. So these are the three different kind of companies you can join as a fresher. Now, if you ask me how we would rank them, tier 2 companies are supposed to sometimes pay more, but that completely depends on your skill, then tier 1, and then tier 3. So these are in terms of companies, and things are completely different if you are joining a hospital or a research institute, because that completely changes the demographics and the people we are interacting with on a daily basis. So I think that would be my answer. Striker 7.7 LPA package. I think that's a really good starting point for the career. I started my career with, I think, 5,000 to 8,000 rupees in Bangalore. Compared to that, getting a 7.7 LPA package, I think that's phenomenal. So yeah, would like to know where did she go through all the details about biomedical and things like that. Just trying to understand if this channel was able to help her in any way. Next, we have LCS official. Bro, is it worth doing masters in Germany? Again, this is a classic question we get on all the lives. Whether you should be doing masters after your BTech degree or you should be going for a job for some period of time and then pursue masters. Now, I would help you understand this with examples. First of all, let's say if you want to get into research and development, you doing a master's immediately after your BTech makes sense. Why? Because as you are finishing your 4 years of BTech degree, you have a clarity that this is the field I want to get into. Let's say if you know that you want to get into research, then when you go for masters, you have to pick a specific domain to research about. That is the easiest way I can explain you this, right? So you apply for masters, you get into research, you select a topic, and then you do research for that specific topic for, let's say, next 1 or 2 years, depends on the country you are going to. Not only Germany, I'm taking talking in general. Now, basically, right? So when you think of doing masters, if you are getting into research, that's a really good decision. But given that you should have good research papers published in 4 years of your college, you should have a thesis or something like that to show that you are someone who is having a good strength in the research field. Now, second condition is when you finish your BTech degree, you don't know what you have to do, but all you know is that I need to get a job. Now, let's say in that situation, your ultimate goal is to get into a job, right? And maybe it can pay you 17,000, 20,000. It would be any kind of role. It can be a service engineer, it can be field engineer, it can be into biomedical training. Whatever it is, you just want a job, right? So you settle down to get a job and you start earning, and then suddenly, let's say your parents are telling you for go for masters, don't work. Now, what is happening is in 4 years of college, you didn't have a clarity as to what kind of work or what kind of job you want to do in the biomedical domain, because biomedical is a vast field, right? And I think most of the reason, most of the students who do not have a clarity even after they finish fourth year is because this topic is really big, right? So if you don't have a clarity, what you are going to do is you will research about how to find a master's, what are the master's degrees in biomedical that would last for next 10 years. You would Google, you will chat GPT, you will use AI, and you will understand more about it. And then you will decide that, okay, this specific, let's say, master's in biomedical engineering, specialization in image processing. An example I'm giving. So you take that degree because it ChatGPT says that okay, next 10 to 15 years, image processing is something which would be at boom, and you think like okay, this is going to be in the industry for next 10 to 12 years. If I study this specific image processing subject and take a master's in it, I would get a high paying job. That is the notion you would have. Correct me if I'm wrong. And let's say you apply for masters. First years of master's degree, you are basically skimming through all the things you studied in 4 years of college and then just recapping it and things like that. Second year they ask you to do a project, and that's when things turn around. And when you have to do like a project for your final year, or let's say final semester of your master's degree, you can only do it in image processing. Why? Because that is the specialization you have opted for. And second, even if you don't like image processing, you would have to do that because you want your master's degree. Now, what happens is you finish, let's say you finish master's degree and then you have a specialization in image processing, but you do not have work experience, right? Two things. You can have work experience, you cannot have work experience. Now, let's say if you don't have a work experience, then you should go and look for all the jobs which are specialized for image processing roles. Why? Because you have master's degree in that domain, and that will only pay you the kind of package you're looking for. If not, let's say you don't like image processing, you have a degree and then you go for masters, you're done with masters, and then even if you get a job, you would not be happy in doing that like in that specific job role. Why? Because you don't like what you're doing. So it's very important for you to have a clarity even before you think of doing masters. Now let's say if you want to go to research immediately after your BTech, you can pursue your master's degree. Let's say you don't have a clarity, don't do masters, wait for at least 1 year of working experience. Do work for 1 year so that you understand what kind of work you like. In 1 year of time, you can switch companies because you're starting your career. Once you join a company and every 3 months you're changing your company, that reflects your resume as someone who is not stable with a company. That backfires you. So the first year after you finish your college is something which I would suggest you to work, understand what exactly biomedical industry is and which specific domain you like doing, and then as per the job roles and as per your interest, you can decide for a biomedical master's degree and pursue that. So I think that would be the best way to go about it. And specifically Germany, a lot of medtech companies are based out of Germany, and there are a lot of healthcare companies, there are a lot of startups that are coming in. But given that, you should either know German or you should get a degree from specific university. You will have to look for jobs all by yourself, and again, the political condition all across the world also matters a lot. Let's say you go for masters in the US and then you pursue your masters, and then after masters you're not able to get a job, right? And then you are doing some kind of part-time job just to survive. Or let's say you are taking another PhD course or another like 2 years or 5 years of studies just because you can stay in US and then you can eventually look for a job. So until and unless you are sure that okay, if I go to Germany and if I study everything well, if I have projects in place, if I have internship after the first semester, maybe let's say you have 3 internships, I have projects, then I think no one can stop you from getting those jobs. So I think deciding on a country would completely depend on doing some kind of research all by yourself as well. Just because I'm saying Germany is good doesn't mean that you go for masters in Germany and you would get a job, because everything boils down to you preparing and studying and getting skilled enough to get a good high paying job in the end of 2 years of your college. So that would be my suggestion for you. Nitesh, bro, is it true that medtech company hire generic triple E CS AI mechanical branch students compared to biomedical students? Not really, but partially correct. I'll tell you why. Okay, when you talk about triple E or embedded engineering or electrical engineering, it's all about circuits, it's all about electricity, it's all about connecting components and things like that. So let's say if you have to make a medical equipment, you need certain circuits in place so that the specific device can work. Correct? Now, let's say that you are a biomedical student and your friend is a triple E student. A medical company comes to your hiring flea, and then they take interviews, and both of you appear in front of the recruiter. Now what will happen with you is that if you are not focusing in your college, you would be someone who doesn't know anything about medical equipments, who doesn't know anything about electronics, who doesn't know anything about electricals. You would be someone who would not know anything but know little bit of everything. On the other hand, let's say there is a triple E student sitting with you, at least he will be having more strength on electricals compared to you, because maybe you wouldn't have focused much on electricals. You only have it in one semester, and these people studied throughout their 4 years of college. So obviously someone from triple E would be good at what he or she is doing compared to you. Now again, that's where what I told you comes into picture, right? Biomedical is a vast field. You have to study a lot of things, and until and unless you don't have a clarity, you would not be a successful biomedical engineer. But on the other hand, someone with computer science, now a medical company would require everyone. The medical company would require someone to code the medical codes, someone to design circuits, someone to design the product. So mechanical engineers, they get into designing roles. They are good with CAD, SolidWorks. Coding or computer science students, they would get into medical coding, developing the product, developing the algorithms. Regulatory and affairs, those people has to be from biomedical, because we study about ISO standards that we have in too few of the semesters of college. Now that is a field where we do not focus on 4 years of college. Regulatory and affairs for female candidates who are who are looking for a job, a good job in the biomedical field, regulatory and affairs is an amazing job that you could pursue. So if you focus 4 years of college, if you completely read about ISO 13485 and ISO 13971, something like that, I'm not sure about it, but if you study these two standards, there are companies who would hire you for regulatory and affairs and compliance. So that is something you can explore. So as I said, companies are not hiring mechanical, triple E, computer science or AI students because they don't want biomedical engineers. They take them because they don't have, or they don't see biomedical engineers who are also having knowledge in, let's say, any of the one field. So the best outcome for us would be take biomedical as the medical equipments or biomedical field as a strong point, and always add one part to it. Let's say designing, let's say coding, anything one, right? Any one that you want to select. Biomedical plus AI, biomedical plus coding, biomedical plus designing. So when you have these combination of two skill sets, companies would hire you over a triple E student or a computer science student, because you also know about biomedical, you also know about medical equipments, you also know about the manufacturing process and things like that. So you will always have a upper hand in that way. So that's my answer for that. Biomed engineer 236, what's your opinion about a person having 3 years experience in sales and service and customer support engineering, and now moving to the next company in sales role? What's the expected salary range? I will tell you about the company standards or the industry standards. Now, let's say if you have, let's say if you have a CTC for 5 lakhs, right? You have, for example, you have a CTC of 5 LPA, and you got basically anywhere between 20 to 40% hike would be the basic standard. If your profile is really good, you can expect a 40% hike. Some companies give you 100% hike as well if you are really good at something, if your resume is really phenomenal. But let's say the worst case scenario, you get a 20 to 30% hike when you change or look for another company or another role. Now let's say if you have a 5 LPA CTC and get 20% hike when you shift, so your new CTC would be 6 LPA. So 20% hike on 5 LPA would come around 6 LPA, increment of 1 lakh rupees. So it's about how you negotiate with your last drawn CTC with the hiring manager and prove that you are someone capable to get a hike that could range from 20%, can go up to 100%. So as per industry standards, 20 to 40% is what everyone I've heard saying. But yeah, depends on your profile. In going to MNC company. When you go for MNC company, again, an MNC company would be a tier 1 company. They would have good budget for hiring the right kind of candidates, so they may pay you more. Startups can also pay you more if you have extra skill sets to offer them. And tier 3 companies won't really pay you so much because they already have budget constraints. So think like that, right? Whenever you join a company, think how big the company is, how much money or how much funding they have received. So when I look for a job, or when I right now, if I have to switch for a job, this is the things that I would do. Research about the company, understand how they are growing, like let's say in the last 5 years, what could be the predicted thing in the next 5 years. Analyze reviews that are present online, what other people who have worked there say about this company. When you do all this research, you would understand whether this is a good company to join in the first place, and if yes, what could be the best CTC that you can expect. So you already understand a ballpark figure. If you do a research on Google, go to Reddit, go to Glassdoor, there are a lot of like company reviewing websites where you can go and read the comments, so you can get a fair idea and then expect for a hike that you feel is right for you. Nisha, I can't see your message. It says message retracted. I'm not really sure why, but I'm moving on. You can drop your question again. Indian Factor suggest some internships as second year biomedical students. See, the best thing you can do to get an internship is watch my detailed video. It's a 40-minute video where I have explained everything about how to apply, how to find, and how to get internships in 2026. That being said, it applies to all the students, first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Anyone who is looking for an internship, if you follow these steps consistently, then I think you would easily get an internship irrespective of the year that you are studying in. This is the video. I have sent the link on the WhatsApp, sorry, on the YouTube chat. You can open that link, watch the 40-minute video, and when you watch that video, sit with a notebook or or a tablet or a computer or a laptop, because I would ask you to do a lot of things, make a lot of sheets so that you can know how many companies you are applying to, how many companies you are getting rejected, how many companies are saying yes, so you can track how your progress is going in terms of finding an internship. If you come and ask me where would I find internship, I may not have the answer because I am not someone who is looking for internships. But based on my experience, these are the things that always work out, and that's exactly why I have made this video. So go and watch that video, and you would maybe eventually get an internship. Ayush, hello sir, I am a big fan, sir. So Ayush again, he's my friend. He's like my younger brother. He stays here in Raipur with me, so he has also part of the stream now. Bro, what do you think about project interns in IITs with stipend? What work do they do there? I really don't have any idea about it. I'll explain you I'll explain it to you in the most easiest way possible, okay? Now let's say I'm a professor, and I'm a professor in IIT, and you are a student in some part of India, in some college you're studying. And let's say you are in second year and you are really interested to build a project on exoskeletons. So first year, your mini project or the small project that you are doing. Second year, something better that you build. So all the projects, all the research you have done, if it is in exoskeleton, you can think of reaching me out on LinkedIn, or if you go to any IIT websites, you can know which professor is doing which, working on which project or which research. So you have to find a professor in an IIT or like a specific institute that you want to do an internship or work in as a project intern. So you reach out to these professors, let's say on LinkedIn or email, however you find a way to, and then you send them a request with your resume, and then you explaining why you want to do an internship under them, and how you could contribute. Now let's say if the professor really wants someone to do the internship, the professor would say yes to you, and let's say they would call you, let's say 3-month internship in IIT Madras, and your stipend would be 10,000 rupees a month. So what you would be doing is the professor or the right person is already making a project, doing research on it, and you have to help him build it. That's what project interns do. Their ultimate goal is to work with a professor and help them with a project and ultimately get it done with the professor. The best way to get an internship in IIT, I would say NPTEL. Just write an NPTEL exam on the specific subject that you like. Make sure you score more than 80%. And if you are in the top 100 or top 200, I think you would get an opportunity from NPTEL to do an internship in an IIT. So that's the best way. It's like a hack that nobody uses, because what I have seen is most of the university students, they take NPTEL as like a very boring course to pursue, but absolutely they can give you a lot of internship opportunities, no doubt about it. Nitesh, completed my BTech in electrical engineering. Now I decide to do masters in biomedical. Is it a good decision, or masters in triple E? Good question. A classic situation where you have done specialization in electrical, but now you are wanting to make a switch in biomedical. It is absolutely similar to someone who has done biomedical course but wants to do a project in, let's say, electrical field or circuits field or AI field or any other coding field or whatever field that he or she is interested in. So to answer your question, ultimately it would depend on you. Now let's say if you think you're really good with electricals and electronics and you want to do something in the healthcare domain, let's say anything with medical equipments, anything with designing a equipment or a device, or anything that is solving a problem in the healthcare space, then I think you can absolutely go for masters in biomedical after completing your electrical. But if you are going for biomedical just because there is scope for biomedical engineering in down the line next 20-25 years, and you don't really know what biomedical is all about, then I think it won't be a good option for you to pursue biomedical after your triple E or or ECE, whatever, electrical engineering. Yeah, that would be my suggestion. But again, I'm not saying you should do this, but that is how I would look at that specific thing. LCS official, your message is retracted. I'm not sure why it's happening, but maybe if you can put the message again, I would be happy to answer. Pranamya Jakula. Hey, what would be the best option to choose after completing BTech in biomedical? Whether it is choosing masters or finding a job in any company, or what would you suggest to do? I've already answered this question. If you can go 5 to 10 minutes um, behind on this live, you would find the answer to this question. But again, I don't want to be repetitive and again explain the whole thing. Just maybe, if you can go a few minutes back, you can. I have explained everything. If you want to do, if you should do BTech and then immediately masters, or if you shouldn't do BTech and immediately masters. So yeah, you can just go a bit behind on this live and you can get the answers to those. Anachi, he's my close buddy. When I was in Bangalore, he was with me in Bangalore for 5 years. So he is also there. He's also there on the live. LCS official, bro. What kind of skills do top companies want from a fresher? I mean skills like mechanical or electrical or software. See, mechanical, electrical, AI, ML, all this is not something that you're studying. You're studying biomedical engineering. Biomedical engineering is all about solving healthcare problems. It can be solving problems for hospitals, for doctors, for patients, anything and everything that is a problem for healthcare. You, as a biomedical engineer, are supposed to solve those problems. That is the first thing. Now, as a biomedical engineer, what is the basic thing that you would do? Now, this is what I would suggest you to do. Make a list of critical care equipments. Now, what are critical care equipments? Easiest explanation, every hospital you go to, these are certain set of equipments or medical equipments that are supposed to be there in the hospital, right? Then only they get, let's say, certain accreditations and things like that. So make a list of 10 to 15 critical care equipments that are available or present in most of the hospitals. You study about each medical equipment or critical care equipment. What do you study? What is that equipment? Why is it used? Where it is used and when it is used? Four things. And then you understand which are the top companies who are manufacturing this specific equipment. That is a one document you have created on Google Docs. Save it. Come to the next critical care equipment. Like that, make a document of 10 critical care equipments minimum that you are completely thorough with. Now, what happens? What is the outcome of all of these things that you are doing? Let's take two examples. Person one is someone who has done biomedical engineering but doesn't know what critical care equipment is. Why? Because we don't focus on these things because they are not really taught in the university. I mean, it is taught in the university, but there are few lectures that you would see where they would tell you about these equipments, but not in detail. So what I would suggest is, as a first year biomedical student, you should know this 10 critical care equipments. So coming back, person 1 has done biomedical engineering but knows nothing about critical care equipments, and person 2, you, who has done biomedical engineering, and in your resume you have listed under, you can add it under your certifications. I mean, not certifications, but then you can mention a specific domain where, strengths, where you can tell hands-on experience on, let's say, 10 critical care equipments. It automatically makes you more marketable than someone who is an average or even like a top student in biomedical engineering domain. I really don't feel they really study about these equipments. Patient monitor, syringe pump, infusion pump. If I ask you what is a syringe pump or infusion pump, why is it used, where it is used, what are the most common issues that doctors or patients feel while they're using this equipment, as an average biomedical engineer, you should know these questions. You should know answer to these questions by the time you're finishing your fourth year of college. If not, you're not progressing in the right direction. So, I mean, that's how I would answer that. Mercy Mishpa, bro, how would I get into research and development after my UG? Again, I've answered this exact question in the beginning of my life. If you want to get into research and development after your undergraduate, you should know that this is something that you want to do. You should try publishing paper in first year, second year, third year, fourth year of your college. Why? Because it helps you to understand how research and development really feels. You will have to sit and read a lot of things. I mean, given that there are a lot of websites, AI websites, which helps you to summarize the paper and do a lot of creative stuff with it. But eventually you will have to go through a lot of documents. You will have to do a lot of analysis, statistics, and then a lot of thesis writing. So if you are someone who enjoys doing all kind of things which I mentioned right now, that is something which you can pursue. But let's say if you don't have any research that you have done in 4 years of college, and then someone tells you to get into research and development, you take a master's degree, you're not going to be happy with where you would end up after, let's say, 2 years of college. So having that clarity is very important. Until and unless you don't have a clarity that you really want to do masters in research and development, or you want to get into research and development, don't opt for it. That is what I would suggest. Okay, I mean, we are out of questions, I think. I have answered the questions that are put in the chat so far. If any more questions, if any more doubts, if any more suggestions, feel free to drop in and I would be happy to answer. Is it true? Nitesh is asking, is it true a pure AI student easily switched to BM but difficult for biomedical students? See, that's what I'm saying. Now, if someone, let's say, let's understand this with an example, okay? There is, let's say you have to construct a building, and when you have to construct a good building, you actually call for workers who would mix the cement, who would apply it, who will arrange the bricks. They are good at it. Why? Because they have done it for, let's say, so many years in the past, and they are experienced and they have like that specific skill to do that specific task. Now, if I tell that specific worker to switch into AI, would it be easy for that person? No. Why? Because he's not good at it. He has no experience in it. And the same way, if I tell a biomedical student or let's say a graphic designer to go and actually build house, is that possible? No, because he or she might not be having the right skill sets. So irrespective of you being a biomedical engineer or you being an artificial intelligence engineer, when it comes to switching, that completely depends on the individual. It doesn't mean that if you and me, we both have the same skill sets, and just because you have AI on your resume means you would get the job. So it would actually come down to the specific individual and the skill sets that person acquires to back or to prove that he is good at it would eventually switch easier than someone who is not having any clue about how to navigate through the specific domain. I think that's how I would answer that question. I mean, I don't know if my perspectives are good enough, but whatever I'm telling you is just my perspective on how I would go about uh, that specific question or doubt that you have. I may be wrong. I'm not saying whatever I'm saying is absolutely correct, but I'm just sharing my perspective. That is how, if I was in that specific situation, that is what I would do. LCS official asks, bro, what skills you learned in your BTech? So I would say I haven't learned anything in 4 years of my college. The only skill I would say I learned was how to communicate properly in English. I mean, I'm really thankful to all the friends who pushed me because when I stepped in first year of college, I didn't know how to speak English. I mean, I can introduce myself, but if someone is asking a question, I used to get stuck. I used to stumble a lot because I used to think and then convert and then try to speak it in English, a lot of grammatical errors. So that is in terms of my communication. When I joined first year of college, I was there. Second, third, fourth, I was an average student with studies, I would say studying one day before the exam. But it took me 4 years to understand what biomedical engineering is. I mean, I didn't understand in 4 years what biomedical engineering is. I learned everything about it after I graduated from my university. But in the university, if you ask me, I was someone who didn't know what coding is. So let's say for computer science students, whoever opted for that course, they knew that okay, eventually they are going to get into software coding and things like that. But when I went to college in first year of university, I was someone who thought computer science engineers build computers. I mean, that's that is something which I feel was dumb right now thinking about it. But again, I used to think that mechanical engineers eventually build vehicles. But I didn't know what Java is. I didn't know what coding is. I didn't know what Python is. I didn't know what Python libraries are. I didn't know what CAD is. All the designing softwares that I talk about today are the softwares which I came across my university, but I never took it seriously. But then after I finished 4 years of college. So again, even though I was not having an understanding about all these things, let's say in first year or second year of university, my ultimate goal was to explore as much as I could. Why? Because let's say my friends knew what Python is, my friends knew what Java is, my friends knew what Kirchhoff's law is, but I was not someone who was really good with all those things. So my ultimate motive was to attend all the workshops that are happening in the university, talk to a lot of people, understand what exactly do they do, what kind of skills they have, and I used to watch a lot of podcasts. I mean, I used to sit and watch 1.5 hour podcast. And then when I was in 4 years of university, one thing which I came to know from these YouTube channels were that I need to do internships. I need to do as many internships as possible if I have to get into a really good company. So ultimately, when I was in even in my fourth year or third year, if you would ask me, I didn't know what exactly is the kind of job that I'm going to do, but I just needed a job irrespective of anything. So I did internship from I think second semester of university. I used to take up graphic designing, digital marketing. But the only thing which I took, uh, which I still stick by was selecting a healthcare company. Even if I'm doing a graphic designing internship, digital marketing internship, business associate or business development associate, any kind of internship, irrespective of the company, I just made sure that it is a healthcare or a medical company. So I did around 5 internships in 4 years of my college, but nothing related to biomedical. So eventually, as first from joining a 8,000 rupee internship to go getting into another internship and then increasing my stipend to 10 to 12 to 15 to 25 to 40, eventually getting a job and then switching. And that's how I grew in my career. And I don't know anything about sales, but 4.5 years of my working experience as of now is completely into sales, and now specifically software sales and edtech sales. So now I know that I don't need to pursue a master's in biomedical engineering. Why? Because an MBA is more suitable for me because I am really interested in sales or marketing, right? So that's how I know that okay, this is what I have to do if I have to study ahead and get more expertise in that specific domain. So that's how we look at things, not only for jobs, not only for pursuing masters. Everything you should be having a clarity as to what the outcome is going to be. If you don't have a clarity, don't jump into it. Take the time you need. If you just want to sit, don't work and like not work, do that. If you think you apply, you explore different job roles, and then you want to decide it eventually, you can always do that as well. So, irrespective of me, I didn't learn anything in 4 years of college. After like in 4 years of college, what I learned was how to edit videos, how to start a YouTube channel, how to post videos on YouTube, how to edit those videos, keep thinking about startup ideas, attend a lot of startup workshops, attend a lot of seminars, and college hosted workshops that used to happen. My 4 years of college, I was just exploring. Few skill sets that I acquired in 4 years of college was communication. From first year student where I didn't know how to speak English fluently to this stage where I am right now, I think someone asked, I mean, like LCS official is asking, how did you improve your speaking skills? I mean, how can you improve? If you just read a newspaper every day won't help you to improvise your English. I mean, it would help you in some ways, but until and unless you speak to someone every day in English, you cannot be fluent in English, right? So what I used to do is every day I used to keep my phone in front of me and talk for 1 minute on one specific topic. And I used to post it on my Instagram. I think I had a personal account back in 2018, and I used to read about stocks and investments, and then I used to talk for it for 1 minute every day and then watch that video, understand, okay, this is where I look really bad and this is where I'm facing problem, and then improvise on the next day. So that's how I think um, I would improve my English even if I have to. I mean, I still have to improve my English. It's not that great, but then yes, if I have to, I will still just keep on speaking in English and then make sure that people correct me. Like I said, a lot of my friends in my 4 years of college who were good with English, I started speaking to them only in English. They used to make fun of me, but they used to correct me where I was wrong. And I think that's how my friends taught me how to be fluent in English, given that I also used to post on YouTube. Initially, a lot of people would make fun of you. Eventually, a lot of people would mock you. Eventually, a lot of people would tell you that you are flexing, you are showing off. But eventually, you would see the results of all those things you are doing in first, second year of college when you are in the final year. When the job interviews are coming in place, you are having the right English fluency, you have a clarity as to what you want to do in biomedical engineering, you have projects in place, you have internships in place. So these are the things which would eventually give you the result. These things will not give you results in 1 week or 2 week or 1 month or 3 month. It would give you the results even if you, let's say, even if you dedicate 1 hour every day to just study about a specific topic. Do that for 4 years of college, you would be specialized in that specific topic. Every day 1 hour, if not 1 hour, every day 30 minutes. Just read about it, study about it, write about it, post about it for that 30 minutes. So I think that is something I would suggest everyone to do. What careers can I actually get through GATE with biomedical engineering? I mean, you can get into top MNCs. The reason being, if you clear your GATE exam, chances are you would get into a IIT, triple IT, NIT, and then eventually these companies have, these institutes have really high or really premium alumni access. All the top, I mean, I not say all, but I think 90% of the companies out there, they are having the leadership roles are maybe pretty much taken by IIT, IIM graduates, right? So if you get into GATE, you can get into government job opportunities, you can get into private companies, you can get into research, you can get into teaching, you can get into coaching, you can get into a lot of fields after you um, finish your gate and get through your master's degree from IIT, or NIT, or any of the institutes that they have the tie up with. Nitesh, why students focus on internship, even second year students? Why first you focus on knowledge, read physics, chemistry, maths, develop first principle thinking? See, I'll again share my perspective when I look at things, right? Just because you are, see again, chemistry, physics, maths. Now you tell me, let's say you say that, okay, you want to explore chemistry. But when you know that, okay, chemistry is something which is not going to help you because you don't want to get into that, I won't think you would study it seriously. So usually what happens is the first year of college is pretty much everything that you have already studied in your 11th and 12th. I think one or two subjects would come new, But other than that, all the subjects that you study in first year, I mean 75 to 80% of the subjects you would have studied in your 11th or 12th standard. So someone who is already starting in the first year to read about critical care equipments would always have more clarity as to what kind of job he or she wants to do in 4 years after 4 years of college. And this is the mistake that we do, right? And when you do internship, the best thing is you understand how companies work. You understand what working feels like, what kind of works you would be doing, right? So in class you are learning, okay, this is how defibrillator works, this is how defibrillator works. But let's say in first year, first semester you studied 10 critical care equipments. In 6 months you studied 10 critical care equipments. Second semester, ask internship from small hospitals, that are private hospitals that are there. Just tell them, I'm a biomedical engineering student. I have studied about 10 critical care equipments. I see these equipments are available in your hospital. Can you give me an internship for 3 days or 1 week where I could just write about these equipments and how they're helping your hospital? That is an internship that you could do in first year. Now, when you go and do that internship, you actually understand how the biomedical engineers or doctors use that specific equipment, and that's called hands-on training. When you actually learn how the device works, you actually stand with doctors when they're operating, you actually do a lot of things that helps you understand, okay, this is what ultimately I'm going to do. When you do that internship, two things could happen. First thing, you would know that, okay, hospital environment is not good for me and this is something which I don't want to do. So you know that after four in first year only, in the second semester only, you would know that after 4 years I'm not going to work in hospital. Why? Because I already got a taste of it, right? So that is out of your roadmap or the outcome or the goal. Now remaining. Now next semester you focus on a new domain. Let's say graphic designing. Doesn't mean that you have to do only biomedical engineering. But if you don't know you have whether you have to do biomedical engineering or not after 4 years, explore other internship, graphic designing, digital marketing, AI. I mean, AI, a lot of people are talking about AI. Learn more about AI in biomedical, how it could help, what are the tools you could learn, things like that. So I think that would be my answer to that question, right? I'm not saying that you should only do internship after say 2 years or 3 years of college. You should do internship from day one of your university. You are eligible to do that. Just because the colleges have imprinted or told you that you are only supposed to do internship in third year of college, I don't know if you would end up in the right place. Why? Because after 3 or 4 years of college of your college, 80% of the times I've seen colleges will not give you placement in core companies. You will eventually have to find these companies all by yourself and build the skill sets required for you to get into jobs all by yourself. So at today's time, if you want a job, you need to prepare for it, you need to look for it all by yourself, and you need to get into those kind of jobs that you're looking for. I think colleges, they are still teaching, right? They're still teaching the things are not that are helpful to build the foundation, but nothing that makes you marketable enough to get into a really good company. No university will teach you or about sales, how to sell medical equipments. Selling a medical equipment and selling an online course are two different things. When you do an internship in first year, let's say in sales, it could be in selling online courses. You actually learn how to dial, you actually learn how to call. But things completely change if you want to get into medical sales, medical equipment sales. Why? Because the products are very expensive. And second, if you have a sales experience, even in edtech, the company can have a confidence in you that, okay, this person has an idea about how sales is going to work. And then they teach you how to do medical sales as a fresher. So companies ask you for experience. Even the internship that you are doing, if it's relevant to the job that you're applying to, it is considered as an experience only. So again, internship, do as many as you can, keep exploring as many as you would. Bro, why people go for MTech? Is it worth doing MTech or direct masters, skipping MTech, which is best? I mean, that's what I explained few minutes back. You can just go back and watch that specific part. Harish, I'm late. It's never late. I think we are still talking. We are still on. I think there are around 11 people, so I think we are still good. Um, Tanha says, "Hello, Sajjan. How to build confidence in an interview? I'm really facing this issue." See, now. First thing, these are the key important things that I always follow when I'm like applying for a job or when I'm preparing for an interview. Cool. The first thing is go to company's website and learn what the company is about. When you do that, you have an understanding what problem the company is solving. Okay. If it's a really big company, they have a lot of products. You don't know which kind of role you which kind of product you would get. What you could do is still go on the company website, understand what kind of company it is, and then look at your job application. The job that you are applying to, it would always have roles and responsibilities. Read those roles and responsibilities, and make sure that you are having some kind of experience related to that on your resume, right? Now, that is second. So first thing, go read everything, research about the medical company you are applying to. Second, check if your job description, the required skills are at least 60 to 65% skill sets matching with your resume. So that is the second point. Third point, ask, I mean, they would ask a lot of questions. Now, there are two things that happens when you go for an interview. The first thing is your confidence. If you are getting stuck while you are speaking, if you are scared, if you are stumbling a lot, if you are not able to articulate your things, they would immediately reject you. Given that it's like a company like Infosys, service based companies where they're hiring for bulk, they don't really care whether your skill set is good or not. They are just hiring random people. You can get in. But if specifically biomedical good company you want to get into, first thing is you should be fluent in English. You should be able to communicate properly. Second thing, the first question would be, tell me about yourself. And this is where a lot of us make mistake. I mean, as a student, we would always sound like this. Hey, my name is Sajin. I am a final year biomedical engineering student. I have done my projects in this. I am from this specific city. I have studied here. I have done my project in this. You are telling about yourself, but you are only telling them what is there on the resume. Everyone would say the same thing. The first thing that immediately gives you the advantage is talk about your experience. Let's say you can answer something like this. Hey, this is Sujin Thomas. I'm a final year biomedical engineering student, really passionate to create an impact in the healthcare domain. I like solving problems, and I specifically enjoy solving problems related to the healthcare field. And that's exactly why I applied for this specific role, because I researched about the company and it feels like you are doing something which I would be interested to contribute to. I didn't tell about my degree. They already know you are biomedical engineering student, so don't have to um, talk more about it. Just introduce in one line and then move on. Tell like what you like doing. Tell like why exactly you applied for this company. Tell like what do you like about that specific company. Why did you apply for this role? So you give them an idea that okay, this is who I am and this is how I have applied for this job. Now, if you're not saying this, if you're telling about yourself, classic interview question. The next question could be, so what project did you do? Or why did you select this course? But if you follow the second way of introducing yourself, the next question could be, okay, so can you tell me more about the projects that you have done, the internships that you have done? So if you use the second way of introducing yourself, everything or every question that they would throw at you would be relevant to what you have said. They would not ask you something that you haven't done. So first thing, never lie on your resume. Second thing, don't lie when you are giving interview. And third thing, always tell about yourself. Don't sell yourself. Okay, I'm having 9.8 CGPA. I have done 10 projects. Someone who has done one project but a really good project will always get a job over someone who has done 10 multiple projects but don't know anything about it. So yeah, that's how I think you should prepare for interviews. First, research about the company. Second, research about the job. Third, check whether the skills required are matching with the resume that you have. If not, edit it. Or go to YouTube, learn, like watch few videos about it so you have an understanding about it. And then you come back and edit those skill sets on your resume. And once that is done, you go ahead, you apply, you get the interview call, you answer boldly, you speak fluently, you tell them about yourself, and eventually you would see that you would clear a lot of. Now, again, I'm not saying you do this in the next interview, you would get hired. While you do this, you will make a lot of mistakes. Apply for a company, get rejected. When you get rejected, you understand where you went wrong. Next interview, do the same thing, but don't make the mistake you made the last time. And that's how consistently applying for jobs and getting rejected from interviews will eventually give you a job when you are ready to get in. So I think that's like the most practical way you should apply or prepare for interviews. Giyu says, on one of video you have provided all the materials needed for gate BM in a spreadsheet. Now the spreadsheet isn't accessible. If possible, you could please repost it. Thanks for sharing that specific concern here. So the gate video that you are talking about was made by me in 2024. After that, I think my personal laptop it crashed and I was not able to retrieve all the data. And then eventually I lost access to that Google Sheet which I made. So I don't really have it. That's exactly why I have made the new Gate 2026-2027 video. Basically, it's for 2027, where I have broken down everything, given the links for everything, and also I have made an ebook which you can use to prepare for your Gate exam just by being in your hostel or just by being in your home. So everything for free, given that the ebook is priced at 199 rupees, which is very much affordable for all of us. And so yeah, there are two videos. Go ahead and watch those. If you feel it's a purchase worth your investment, go for it. If not, you already have the resources in place and you know what to study. So yeah, either ways, it's gonna benefit you. Jatin Rajput, in first year biomedical, how to earn money in first year? If you want to earn money in first year of college, you should learn a skill that is convertible. I mean, a skill that would eventually get you money. What are those skills? Non-technical skills like graphic designing, video editing, Blender, 3D designing, CAD, SolidWorks, engineering drawing. These are the skills which will eventually pay you irrespective of you being in first year, second year, third year, or final year of college. So yeah, learn a skill that you can sell easily, and once you think you have the skill, you are good at it, make a profile on Fiverr, make a profile on Upwork, make a profile on any freelancing platform you see is that is legit. Make use of LinkedIn, make use of Instagram, reach out to companies, reach out to founders, and sell yourself. That's the way you earn money in first year of college. What package I expect in AI healthcare? I cannot tell you what package you can expect. Like I said, your package would completely depend on the skills that you have acquired. If you don't have any skills, you won't get high paying job. If you have good skills, you would get a high paying job. If you have average skill sets, you would get an average paying job. But again, to give you an idea, AI healthcare depends on the role. I would say a bracket of 4.5 to 7.5. But again, there are companies who would also pay you 12, 13 LP as well. So I cannot exactly guarantee that, okay, this is something that you should expect. Sherry Swiss, I would let AI examine me for a sore throat. Never mind brain cancer. Sherry, I didn't really understand your question, but yeah, thanks for dropping it there. If you can be more specific, I would be happy to answer. Sri Jitin. Hey Jitin, how are you? So Jitin was my junior from college. He is currently with Urbe Healthcare, if I'm correct, and he's doing well. He's um, a sales development representative, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, that's Srijit in there. Wasim Saifi, hello brother. Hello Wasim, how are you? Swati Medico, hello bro. Hello, hi. I mean, if you have questions, please feel free to drop in. Or if you have a good news, if you think you have got a certification, you built a project, you did something new, feel free to drop it on the chat, and I would be happy to know more about it. Also, give me suggestions for my next YouTube video. I mean, it's very much important because I have a lot of video ideas that I have in plan. Again, next video would come maybe tomorrow or day after. So this time we are consistent. We are going in the right direction. I hope I can make more content for everyone in terms of helping you all. No more questions. I think that's about it. I would wait for a few more minutes. It's already 12. Few more minutes. If any more questions, I would be happy to answer. Yes. I mean, it feels great after so long. We're doing this live. So, yeah. If any more questions, drop in the questions. If not, feel free to say good night and I'll also end this live. But yeah, I think we can sit for a few more minutes. If you have any more questions for me, happy to answer. Bro, what about your thoughts on medical device coming up for a digital support platform to support and inside sales? Now corporates are planning for it. Example, Medtronic has already started it. Okay, that message is retracted, but I got your question, Jitin. So I think if you are correct, you are wanting to build, let's say, a software which would handle everything in terms of customer support and also the service related queries. So you are combining support and servicing roles together using a software, which is a good idea. But again, the issue with this would be the big giants. Like you said, Medtronic has already started it. Now Philips may start now, then Stryker may start, then Baxter may start. So a startup company, I don't know how easy for a startup would be to compete with these top companies, given that you have a really good feature that stands out and then no one else can build it easily. But other than that, I think it's a really good idea. The only problem here would be the competition with the big players. But again, the idea is pretty good, according to me. But again, so the moment you think or come up with an idea, the next thing you should do is what could be the problem that you would face if you start a specific um, startup or something like that. So yeah, I think that's about it. No more questions for me, I guess. I would wait till 12:10. If no more questions, we could end this live and we could meet on Sunday. Again, I'm planning to do live on every Sundays. We can select specific topic that we could cover every Sunday and then we can chit chat, we can have some fun, and then we can see how things are moving ahead. Vrishan Bhargav, what do you think about neural computation? I mean, I have been in sales, given that 4.5 years of experience I have in sales, but I keep reading a lot of articles in terms of medical technology, healthcare domain. So I think neural computation would be good, given that, I mean, according to me, as a human, I think it's important for us to make the best use of our capabilities without any external influence. And when it comes to neural computation, I mean, it has a lot of advantages, it has a lot of disadvantages. So, I mean, the domain is really good. It's a really high paying domain. Uh, and if I talk about the companies and things like that, I think there are a lot of big tech companies where they are designing a lot of brain implants. Yeah, I mean, the Elon Musk thing also is there, if I'm not wrong. But if you look about it, it has a lot of perks. But again, this is not something which I would enjoy doing, but then it has a really good scope in next few years. I mean, it has to do everything with how um, the neurons, like I mean, how the nerves are working in terms of interacting with each other and things like that. So I'm also going through about it as well. Not really sure, but a really good question. I mean, once I do the research more, I mean, I would be able to answer the question in the best way possible. Just that I don't want to say something which I'm not sure about. So I can read about it and I can make a short video on explaining neural computation and the future. I mean, that's a really good video idea right there. That goes as a pinned comment for me. Swayam, hello, I have a doubt. Yeah, you can ask your you can ask your doubt. You don't have to spam. I'm always happy to answer whatever question you may have. We are having an average duration of 4 minutes, which means out of 109 visitors we have had on this live, at least 50% of them, I think they watched the video for at least 3.5 minutes, which is a really good retention rate, I believe. So I think I do have good storytelling skill set. I think I don't know. So yeah, that's about it. I want to research. Okay, you want to do research. Okay, you want to do research. Understood. That's not a question, that's a statement. So yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for the doubt you have. There is a 5-second delay. So if you're dropping in a message, it would reach to me after 5 seconds. So there's a 5-second delay. So don't feel that I'm repeating the question again and again or I'm skipping it. I want to research in medical sciences. So what should I do? As I said, when the moment you think about doing a research, you should find out a topic, you should find out a domain. Either you can find out a domain, or you can find out a product, or you can find out a problem, or you can find. So you need to find a topic that you're interested in. You want to read everything about that specific domain. For me, it could be psychedelics. I mean, I'm really interested to understand how the brain functions. So everything related to neuroscience. So that's my interest, but doesn't mean I want to know everything about that domain because I just like reading about it. But if I have to do research about it, I should know everything about the brain functioning. I should know everything about the neurons, nerves, neuroscience, right? So I'm not someone who is wanting or is willing to study that much. If I am someone who is really interested to study all those things, I would get into research. So if you want to get into medical science, find out a niche that you're interested in. So yeah, that's how I would answer that question for you. Interested in medical chemistry, how was it? Again, if you want to get into medical chemistry, I think biotechnology would be a right fit for you. In biomedical, we don't really study about drugs. I think you can either go for pharmacology or you can go for the other degree I suggested right now, biotechnology. So you can do engineering in biotechnology, you can get into research and development in medical chemistry or medicinal chemistry. I mean, that's how you would go about it. But if you are doing biomedical engineering, you want to switch to medical chemistry, I would not say it would be a really good preference given that you're really interested in that specific domain. So yeah, that's that. I think there are 6 people on the live right now. I think Vrishank has sent me a LinkedIn request as well. I have accepted your request. So yeah. Nitesh has a question. जब मैं MIT स्टैनफोर्ड का बायोमेडिकल इंजीनियरिंग करिकुलम देखता हूँ, then I realize why not single IIT in top 200 college in the world. Absolutely, that makes sense. I mean, the best way you could stay updated with uh, the biomedical industry is reading more about it. Keep like like just because you are in India doesn't mean you cannot follow international curriculum. I mean, subjects would be pretty much the same, but there would be few subjects that you would have never heard of in 4 years of your college. Maybe read about those specific topics that they have in their curriculum. Doesn't mean that someone who is graduating from Stanford would any day be better than someone who has not been to Stanford, right? So that is not the right notion. So I would say if you think their curriculum has something that you don't have, you can read more about it all by yourself. It's just that you should have that motivation to go online. And there are different ways you can study it on ChatGPT. There are different prompts you could use. So make it more interesting so that you're not just studying it, but then you're enjoying it maybe in your free time. I don't know, but yeah. I can do BSc in chemistry and after masters in medical chemistry, this route possible. Absolutely, you can if you're doing your BSc, you have to do MSc, and then after MSc, maybe you will have to go so on and so forth until you feel that you know everything about that specific topic. So yeah, that's how we would go about it. I mean, it's a good session we are having today. I didn't expect that, we would have at least 100 viewers, but there were days in the past when we used to have 400, 300 people joining in the live, and then, they used to hop off eventually, but then, yeah, that's that. I mean, I still have to get better and reach more folks. What else? Think that's pretty much. I am worried about the income. Just the thing. I think you don't have to worry about the income. See, that's what I say. If you're really good at something, you would eventually get paid the money that you deserve. It's not like you don't know anything and then you're expecting the income to come, it won't. So, yeah. Do you agree that there is a huge gap in technology with respect to medtech when compared with other countries? If we want to bridge this gap, how should we look at it? I mean, I didn't really understand huge gap in technology with respect to medtech. I mean, are you trying to say that the doctors are not skilled enough to use the medical products that we are building, or you are trying to say that the people coding in a medical company are not skilled enough in terms of working with medical terminologies and things like that? So if you can be a little more specific, I can share my opinion on that. But I mean, yeah, any day there would be a huge gap in technology with respect to medtech in India, because if you look at any other country, a biomedical domain specialized country, let's say like Ireland, Germany, I mean, United States would be good for biotechnology, but there are startups and there are universities which are doing phenomenal research in biomedical field as well. So US also is coming up. But again, like let's take example of US. The kind of medical infrastructure that US has is far better than the medical infrastructure that we have in India. For example, if you go to a government medical hospital, you would see the softwares that they use, they are outdated. Half of the times their systems would not be in the right place. So all this I would say would be technological gap which can be fulfilled easily, but it's not reaching the tier 2 tier 3 cities. I mean, the metro cities always have the kind of technology that we are talking about. I mean, 60 they are at 60 to 70% compared to the US infrastructure, but you would any day say that you would you would any day say that okay, US has better infrastructure medical. I mean, why do people go outside India for specific treatments? Because the medical infrastructure and the technological advancements there is phenomenal. Why? Because the people or the students who are getting into these companies are skilled enough to maybe do the research and come up with more ideas. And that's what we are doing, right? Immediately after BTech, we leave the masters, we go for our masters outside India, and then we try to look for a job there. Eventually, you're contributing to their development, right? But again, I mean, this is something which has a lot of external factors as well. But yes, definitely, I think there is a huge gap in uh, technology, a technological gap in terms of technology compared to medical technology. I mean, I don't know if that made sense, but yeah. And if I have to bridge this gap, how would I look at it? I mean, I recently built a project. It was like a fun project that I tried doing using ChatGPT. So, every medical or government medical hospital that you see, every private diagnostic center, private hospital that you see, they have certain medical equipments. Now, these medical equipments, after a certain period, they are supposed to be calibrated, they are supposed to be serviced. Now, a lot of government hospitals don't have anything in place, and that is a broken infrastructure right there. The machines are not serviced timely, the machines are defected, they are not being fixed. There are a lot of issues like this. So I had made like a simple Google form which we can integrate to any hospital, any diagnostic center, and as soon as a service, as soon as like the medical equipment is having any kind of issues, you just have to immediately raise a ticket, and we can track everything in terms of what was the runtime, what was the downtime for specific equipment, when was it last serviced, when is the next due date, a reminder between the due date, having all the certificates in place. So I had made like a simple minimum viable product MVP just to solve this problem, and I still have the idea. It's just that I already am doing a full-time job and I'm enjoying that as well. So right now I feel I don't have the capacity or the flexibility to focus on that. But anyone who would want to consider this as a final year project, I mean, the lucky people who are watching this specific segment of this live, if you want to take up this project as your final year project, feel free to reach out. I would be happy to be part of it and maybe you can take this up. So that is like a gap that I'm trying to solve. So that is a problem that I saw in the infrastructure, and that's how using ChatGPT we just came up with a very simple solution. It could be improvised slowly, but this is an idea which could do really well in Smart India Hackathon that the universities are having ongoing right now. That's like idea right there. So this is how we need to think if we have to fix or bridge the gap that we are talking about. So yeah, I mean that answer was good. Is biotechnology the best career in India? In India, I don't think so. I would say it is. I wouldn't say it's not. All countries that are doing well in terms of pharmaceuticals or genetics or vaccines or medicines, any country that is good with it, you have a scope in biotech there. India as well, there are a lot of treatments that we are doing, there are a lot of drugs that we are developing, there are a lot of um, genetical problems or medical problems we are trying to solve. I think there is scope for every specific career in every country, in every state. It's just that we are not able to find that right opportunity that suits our interest. If you are good at biotechnology, I mean, there are biotech students who are sitting at a package of 11, 12 LP as a fresher with 0 years of work experience immediately after they clear their college or university. So I think when it comes to getting paid, it would completely depend on the skill sets, doesn't depend much on the demographics. I mean, yeah, you can't go to a tier 3 city and expect you to, have like a really good package of, let's say, 15, 16 LPA. That's not possible because practically it doesn't make sense. If you are in a city like metro city like Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, you can expect a 15 LPA package as a fresher, just that you should have the right skills that you need. Bro, recently IIT Delhi students suicide. Why? Because it's worse system. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. The biggest advantage that IITs have is the alumni group that they have. All the people from the past who are graduated from IITs, they are in really big positions. And those people always would help the university to, bring in more talent to the companies that they are working with, or that they have started, or that they have built. So anything that is being taught in IIT, I mean, the best way I could tell you what you could expect in IIT is go to NPTEL and try studying one specific course. They just teach you like that, and you have to supposed to write the exams, and that's how it would be like. So imagine if you really want to go there. I mean, ultimately you have to study all by yourself, irrespective of you being in IIT or not being in IIT. If you study, you would get a good job. So I think that's my suggestion. So yeah, I want to become medical scientist. What should I do? I mean, start with publishing a paper if you're in college. If you're not in college, find the best course that would help you reach or to become a specific medical scientist, and just go about it. I mean, everything is so easy right now. You just have to go to ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT your current age, current skill sets, which course did you study in 12th standard, what was your board exam results like, and then ask ChatGPT, please help me find the best career path for me based on my strengths and weaknesses. Feel free to ask me questions. It will ask a lot of questions. It's more like a psychometric analysis, and then it would suggest you plan A, plan B, plan C. I think that's the best way we could go about it. I mean, if AI is there helping us, why not use that? So yeah, interesting. Okay, I think that's about it. And if there are no more questions, we could just end the live. I mean, if there are no more questions, I'll just wait for 4 more minutes, and if no more questions, we can end the live. Bro, can you guide me personally? I have two, three doubts. You can you can just join the WhatsApp group link, and we can chat on the group. I'm always active on the WhatsApp group. Anyone you would want to join the WhatsApp group, chat with us, chat with other members that we have on the group, feel free to join. I will send the invite for joining the group on the chat for you. Yeah, sure, you can message me on Instagram. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. You can just message me personally or drop a message on the group, and I would be happy to help you guys. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you all on Sunday. Sleep well, kill it tomorrow, new day, and I'll see you all on Sunday. Bye bye. Have a great day, guys.